to build theory. I'm Aurian Archive, and this is the aggressively extreme annoyance edition. And give me a minute while I try and pick something that's vaguely calming. We're going to go with Purple Cat and Oasis for our background music. Here we go, kicking in. Okay, so what's going on is that very recently I did a build request for a player, and the player wanted, or they told me they wanted a Kinetics fire. Well, so, and City of Heroes parlance, whenever you say the support set first and the attack set afterwards, you want a defender. So I ran up a Kinetics fire defender build. And just to have a quick look at it, date modified, date can fire. So, last night, the player said they couldn't find a build. They were looking for it. I'm going like, I put it on the forums to check. And I couldn't find it. And they were looking in the Corruptor forums because they don't have a Kinetics Fire Defender. They have a Fire Kinetics Corruptor. Oh boy. Now, I've done this before in a number of different streams where I demonstrate that Corruptors are the second-class citizens of the support and damage right now, and that's partially because their modifier values are so low that you cannot get the same mileage out of a Corruptor that you can get out of a Defender. Basically, I'm not saying that Corruptor is hard mode, I'm saying Corruptor is punishment mode. You run a Corruptor, you're knowingly giving off more damage, more support, more everything, more bonuses that affect your character for absolutely nothing. You're giving it all up. And yes, the subject of doing something with Corruptors to make them viable in the current City of Heroes landscape has come up there, but as with any other subject, so many people have so many strong feelings on it that the obvious solutions nobody agrees on. I, for one, particularly favor increasing the target caps. Okay, so Corruptors do less damage and they buff less than their teammates. Let them hit more enemies. Just like tanks, when it comes to mob hurting, tanks can do mobs as good as, or in non-IO conditions or low-level conditions, tanks can do mobs just as well, if not better, than brutes because of the increase in target caps. It's a simple way to bring value to a character that has definitively lower output everywhere else. But nobody agrees that raising Corruptor target cap would solve anything, and to a certain extent there's a fair point to that. There are very few enforced situations now where a player will have larger than the existing target caps on the attacking enemies. It works for tanks because tanks could taunt more enemies than the aggro cap of their attacks, raising the cap of their attacks to the already caps of other AoE centric archetypes just brought tankers up to parity and made them more useful. So okay, fair argument, that may not necessarily work with Corruptors. Is an idea I had, is the one I kind of think is the maybe simplest to implement without having to radically redesign Corruptors from the ground up, and that's an entire question in and of itself. Are the differences so great that the only solution is to redesign Corruptors from the ground up? So I am not particularly too thrilled with having gone through and making a Fire Defender, or making a Kinetics Fire Defender, and then now, okay, no, they want a Fire Kinetics Corruptor. I I'm a little tiny bit annoyed at that. And to give you an idea of the scale of the problem that I'm working with, I actually did a Sonic Kinetic build for someone. I've never played this. I really don't know how well it's going to work. But we'll bring up the build in the background so that you can see it now that my little rant about Corruptor Suck is over. And yes, I say this realizing that I just made a Seismic Blast Plant Corruptor who's disgusting and game-breaking, but that's just because she's my build. Alright, so what we're looking at is bonus for bonus. In terms of defense, the Sonic Kin Corruptor is actually really, really close to the Defender. We're still soft capped to smashing, lethal, and energy. We're still soft capped to fire, cold, and we're still soft capped to range. We are not soft capped to negative, but we're not soft capped to negative on the Defender. We are not soft capped to AoE on either one. And our resistances on the Corruptor are a little lower. And I'm trying to look. So it's all things considered, the Corruptor's actually not that far back. And you can also see that I did take the Scorpion Shield Web Cocoon for this character. And looking over the set bonuses, this may work, this may not work. So we kind of already know that our Sonic is going to be, or at least our Sonic Kinetics, because of basically relying on the set bonuses for everything, is going to land very, very close. Now, the caveat here, and we'll bring this further up so we can look all the way down. The Defender doesn't actually have an Incarnate active. You can see down here, actually you may not be able to see depending, okay, yes you can see. I'm scroll down to the bottom, and if I click on Incarnates, I have not selected an alpha power. So I am free on the Kinetics Fire Blast Kin for the Defender to choose any Incarnate that I want to alpha slot. The Corruptor, on the other hand, well, a quick look over here, and I've got Agility selected. And if I turn Agility off, so that we're now apples to apples with the Defender, we can see that I'm not soft capped to smashing, I'm not soft capped to lethal, I'm not soft capped to negative, I'm not soft capped to, well, I am soft capped to energy, I'm not soft capped to fire, I'm not soft capped to cold, I'm not even soft capped to range. I've basically lost everything. So the Corruptor is forced into taking Agility to get almost on par with the Defender. Defender has other options. Defender could go with Vigor, Defender could go with Spiritual, the Defender could go with whatever the Defender wants to go with. I mean, I personally would go with Spiritual, or I would go with Vigor to improve the accuracy, since you don't have a whole lot of other accuracy buildups. So that's kind of what we kind of already know from the start, that we're probably going to have to keep Agility Radial active if we can keep all of the other slottings the same. So that's going to be our target. We know if we can keep the exact IOs from the going from sonic attacks to fire attacks. And we're probably going to be dropping Fire Breath and picking everything else up. So, whereas we dropped Screech on Sonic, we're dropping Fire Breath on Fire. If we can keep all of the other slots the same, we may be in a good position. Now, I'm going to leave this Defender build open in the background. And we're going to do it like this. Oh, nope. I don't want Pines, I want mids. Because Pines is not going to have the utilities that I need. Okay. And we'll do open. Defender Corruptor. We'll open you. We'll bring you back over. And we will find the corruptor name. Corruptor Sonic. Sonic attack Ken. Alright, now that we've got our... I'm going to change the one in front to hero, so that we have now blue on red. Should make it a little easier. We'll move our background to the back. So back down. And let's get our windows back up. There we go. And now we're going to do Sonic to fire. We'll drop fire breath. And so that was down at 8. So we'll move combat jumping down. Still have not unlocked Blazing Bolt. We'll move maneuvers down. We'll move kick down. Okay, we've got Blazing Bolt at level 26. Alright, so what we've lost is 2 sets. Now, one of those look like the Corruptor ATO. And checking really quickly, it does appear to be what we lost is one of the Corruptor ATOs. So one of these will be very easy to fill in. The other one that we seem to have lost was Siren's Song, which, yeah, I know, I took the sleep on a Sonic. It sucks. And putting Avalanche on it just kind of felt stupid. This is one where if I was doing this now, or making it now, I would probably swap the slotting on Shout and Siren Song. Because I think Shout is a single target. Siren Song is a cone. So no, I didn't. I was out of single targets to swap to. I mean, I could swap Artillery into Howl. What was that? 170 base. Yeah, 87 base. Is this a scaling build? And yeah, this was a scaling build. So yeah, we're going to very kind of quickly make that change before I forget about it. Because Siren Song is not going to be used very often, but Howl is used a lot of the time because it's damage attack. And that allows us to get our immobilize earlier in the build. And yes, I know I'm making this fix afterwards. And this was a backport from something. Do I have a glass of water nearby? No. I may have to stop in a second and get some water. Alright, oof. Emma! Oh, and in other news, I did successfully find a GeForce 1050 for under $80 on AliExpress. So I do have a backups graphic card now if this one gives up the ghost. So there is kind of that to be told. Alright, so there we go. Thing that immediately fixes how I would view this build. Alright, so we are missing Corruptor ATO, and we are missing an Artillery. No, we're not. We're missing an Avalanche. No, not Avalanche. Frozen Blast. Missing Frozen Blast. Alright, and both of these are single targets, so I can't use them. Now, I could use the Overwhelming Force, could transfer that over. And put the Frozen Blast in Rain of Fire. But there's a good point to be made here. I could also do... I got Winter's Bite all the way, so ATO and Frozen Blast. So really, the only place I have to put Frozen Blast right now is in Fireball and Rain of Fire. Uh, and that means I just have to move Overwhelming Force someplace else. Want Frozen Blast, not Artillery. Let's get into info. Alright. Alright, then we can do either Overwhelming Force or ATO. Blazing Bolt is the sniper, Blaze is just a high damage attack. And we're doing Blazing. Again, the theory here is that this is a scaling build. Two slots, auto arrange all slots, clear that up. And now in Blaze, we are missing recharge time, PBAOE plus End. Alright, now, okay, for the logic of why did I do it like this instead of putting the ATO in Blazing Bolt? As we check here, our damage on Bolt is now at 101, our damage on Blazing Bolt is 97, so we're picking up a larger damage boost and a larger recharge time boost than we are over anything else. Well, for starters, the endurance consumption. Let's look at that. The base endurance consumption on Blaze is 10.4. The base endurance consumption on Blazing Bolt is 14.35. Overwhelming Force gives me a larger endurance discount, so this means the more often we use Blazing Bolt, the less endurance is going to haul off of us. So that's bringing our endurance, making our endurance more manageable. The other factor here is that everything else, damage and recharge time, are actually pretty close in terms of realism. You're running Fulcrum Shift, so you're going to be putting that down all the time. What it comes down to, though, is that Blazing Bolt, you're probably going to be using it as an opener if you're making advantage of the slow snipe and the sniper critical, or you're using it in the middle of the fight when it's already at quick snipe. Blaze is going to probably be somewhere else in your attack chain. So, because we're putting the PBOE plus End on it, since it's more likely to be used as a normal attack, and we probably could move it further down, closer to picking up as many attacks as you can later on. So what can we move down? Siphon speed, probably. We could probably also move maneuvers down. And where's Tough? Okay, Tough and Weave are real late. So we could probably actually move Siphon speed back early. Alright, now this gives us the majority of the attacks that we can get. Flares, Fire Blast, Fireball, Rain of Fire, Blaze are all before, are all within Positron's task force. You also get your transfusion, so your heal, your plus damage, siphon power, your increased density for anti-mez or anti-hold, and speed boost, again, all within Positron's task force. Inertial reduction is as early as you can get it. Transference and Fulcrum Shift are as early as you can get them. So this puts our utility powers. You're not going to be in, although this is intended to be a leveling build. If we come back here and check this, you're actually not, although I intended this to be a leveling build with everything non-plussed, but I did do pluses on preemptive optimization. So I think this is one where I went back and when I redid it, is like there's no good way to get all of the powers that you would want to have to be in the soft cap early enough, because then you're pushing all of your damage powers or buffs or everything else further down into the build, all of your single slot powers. Uh, so I think at some point I had given up on making this a general scaling build. So you could grab some more damage by plussing out Fireball. Not much, but you could get some. As you're effectively only going to be in the soft cap once you hit Weave and once you hit Agility Radial. So there we go. There's a Fire Kin Corruptor. And keeping all of the same bonuses, we are stuck into taking Agility. But this should work. That's all I've got for now.